what's up, dude? It's TJP, the Philan Flash, otherwise known as Suicide or Manic, appropriately for this Q&A. Thanks for sending in your questions. The section that you put the questions in, though, it cut it off at question number 6, so I don't know if there's any more after that. Number 6, it looked like, what was your favorite Manic or Suicide? I think Mask. So I'll answer that question. But if there's any more, send them in and we can do a part 2 for this and pick up from there. And I'll do some of these out of order, but I'll do my best to answer everything. First, I guess I can start with that. What was my favorite Suicide or Manic Mask? And I think you can't replace the original, because the original is always going to be my favorite. But if not the original, I really liked the last one that I used, which, you know, had the white front faceplate. It was a half mask with the red and the blue accents under the eyes, and I was able to do face paint and stuff like that with it, to give it sort of a macabre, like ghoulish, like, you know, demon type character. And I had always wanted to do the character sort of like that, like the Great Muta. I was always a big fan of the Great Muta, and I wanted to sort of have it sort of like that, like Finn Balor and the Finn Demon. And this was actually before Finn was doing that. When they unmasked Suicide and revealed it as me, I wanted it to be where I was TJ most of the time, but then every now and then Suicide or Manic would come out. So then it would be like, you know, twice a year maybe you would see it. It would be very rare, but it would be a special occasion sort of thing. And then every time the suit would look a little different, the mask would look a little different, and I could make it sort of creepy and scary a little bit, and like have face paint sometimes or whatever. And it would be special in that way. But the office didn't really understand it, because I didn't really have any reference to give him, because, you know, Finn hadn't been doing that sort of thing yet, how he is now, and the Great Muta was just so special that I just felt like they didn't understand how to use it. How did it feel the first time I put the suit on? And it's funny because it felt oddly fitting. The suit, I don't know who it belonged to before me, but the first suit that I had, I mean, I've had tons of suits, but when I went in for a fitting and they sized it to me, the suit that they had put me in fit me like perfectly. They made almost no alterations to it, and it just felt like it was like a cosmic sign, like this was the character I was always meant to play. So it's funny that you asked that question, because I remember very, very vividly that it fit me so perfect, and I remember telling myself, man, maybe this was really meant to be. How do I feel about other people portraying it, you know, after being unmasked and revealed as the true Suicide? And it's really cool to be, like, you know, in comic book terms, canon, to be the backbone of what Suicide is and the foundation of it. But I've always really liked seeing other people's version of it. Everybody puts a little bit of themselves into the character, and I think everybody's done a really good job. So I've never had any problem, and I've always been a big fan of, like, you know, in comic books, it's somewhat common, like Spider-Man, Batman, or something like that, that there would be successors, and the mask can be passed down. And I always thought that was really cool. The Tiger Mask is a big hero of mine, and there's, you know, Tiger Masks 1 through 4, and so on and so forth. So I've never had a problem with that sort of thing. Was there ever any plans on Suicide versus Manic? To my knowledge, no. But there were plans to continue the tag team of Suicide and Manic, and that was because they had at one point wanted to do a TNA throwback show, which would have been like pattern the arena like the Impact Zone and use the old logos and stuff like that. But since that never got off the ground, they never ended up doing it. And also me and Fala were on such a roll that they didn't want to change that up. But there were plans at a certain point to give Fala his own spin-off character that would be like his version of like a Suicide Manic, but we never ended up getting that far. And so, and lastly, are there plans to do Suicide or Manic in another company? That would be up to Impact. I would love to do it. I love the character. But for right now, I'm wrapped up with Impact, and obviously I'm doing a lot of work in other companies. But if they're open to it, I would love to continue doing that sort of thing. because I always really love the character. But I hope that answers your questions for now. If you want to do a part 2, I would love to do it. Thank you so much for asking, and thank you so much for watching, and thank you obviously for loving the character, because I love it very much. But I will talk to you in part 2 if there is one, and thank you so much again for asking.